Ugh. Well, I hope everyone's enjoying being quarantined in this very bad time, but I would not like to be quarantined inside the house of this movie, and that is Color Out of Space, starring Nicolas Cage. This movie was something. This was a little blast of insanity, comedy, sci-fi, and it's about a meteorite. A big pink meteorite lands in space, and it causes all the matter and all the life around it to be affected or mutated, including the family that lives by, which is sort of presented as a very normal family. We get a lot of scenes early on that are sort of very normal scenes, but there's something about each of these family members in this film that is a little bit unsettling. And all of that is amputated in the mutations that they then discover. And this movie was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed the premise of this film quite a bit, and I enjoyed what it was about. I want to start off on one thing though, and that is the colour scheme. It's amazing. It's very pink. So if you watched Mandy, that came out in 2018, also starring Nicolas Cage, that movie had a very over-the-top pink colour scheme. And this movie has the same sort of thing. And this movie at times is extremely gory and insane, and the amount of awesome techniques they used, to warp people's faces and stuff, was really, really unique. And it was definitely a unique experience watching this movie. It was definitely a very weird film. If you like very strange sci-fi, then this is definitely going to be up your alley. If you enjoy just mental, colourful horror movies, then this is definitely going to be something you're going to enjoy. And I certainly like those sorts of films. So I was attracted to this movie, and I really, really did enjoy it. I thought Nicolas Cage was the standout here. He was excellent as this really calming father who, at times, he's just speaking so calmly, and then immediately, a second after, he'll be screaming and raging out, and he wouldn't even notice, and then he'll go back to speaking calmly again. And the same thing about this family. One member of the family will be acting sort of strangely and very stressed, and then the next second they'll just be completely fine and forget about the situation. And the other family members will be sort of oblivious to it because they're going a bit insane and being mutated themselves. And as these occurrences keep happening, it makes the movie very, very entertaining and quite intense, actually, because you don't really know what's going on. That also leads me into one of my biggest issues with this movie, is that sometimes, you don't know what's going on. There's an explanation at the end that's sort of like one of those explanations where it's like, we're not going to explain this, it just doesn't make sense because it doesn't need to. Nothing has to make any sense. And that's fine, but it can leave you a little confused and a little just be like, what was the point of me watching that? I didn't really get anything out of it, even though I enjoyed watching it, and it was an intense experience for sure, and seeing Nicolas Cage being insane is always entertaining, except for in Ghost Rider. That was not entertaining in the slightest. But I really enjoyed Color Out of Space. I thought it was a good movie. In terms of the family members, there was a few of them that was much less developed. But you understand when they do stupid things, because they can't control the things they're doing. When they make stupid, the stupid cliche horror movie decisions where you're like, don't go near that, but you can understand because they're being mutated and their heads are being affected. So this movie's hard to get away with that trope. One of my biggest other issues as well, besides the just confusing feel of what the hell is going on, but another thing I have with it is he sort of acts as the main character in the third act. He's the guy that comes to investigate this meteorite, and this character was hardly in the movie. He was in it at the start of the film, and he was in it at the end of the movie, but in that middle portion it only shows the family. It would have been a lot more investing movie if maybe he was experiencing this as well, and they really put him in the foreground, because I thought he was a solid character, but he was hardly in the film. So when it came around to the end of the movie, he was the only one left with sanity. It would have been a bit more entertaining if he was just the main character of the film. But it sort of focuses quite heavily on the daughter here, who is maybe the one that conjured this meteorite to fall. We don't really know. It's a very obscure movie. If you like obscure films that don't need to make any sense, but they look visually stunning, they're well shot, and they have very over-the-top performances and storylines, then you're going to enjoy this. If you like mental, over-the-top sci-fi and mental, doesn't make any sense horror films, then this is definitely going to entertain you, and it definitely will entertain a lot of people. But a lot of people are going to watch it and be like, I don't like this. And that's fine. These movies definitely have a small niche audience, and I would say I'm in that, because I do enjoy these sorts of very strange movies, and I had a good time watching Color Out of Space. And I'm going to give Color Out of Space a B. I'm also going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. It does its job well, a few things I wish were done differently to improve the film, but overall, it's very wacky, it's very silly, and it's a little bit horrific at times. Guys, comment down below your opinions on this movie if you have seen it, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.